Welcome once again, our cherished viewers, onto Up Close on Campus. Today we have a special guest, a very cute young man who would inspire us on a lot of things. He's going to introduce himself to us and then we'll pick it up from there. So, you're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be on your show today.
Okay.
Um, my name is Ferdinard Fosu-Blankson, and I'm a tutor for Institutes of Education, but I'm actually a demonstrator at Classes and Philosophy Department, UCC. I specialize in teaching philosophy, and my research areas are around philosophy of science, bioethics, metaphysics,
Wow.
and critical thinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot for a young man. You should agree with me, viewers. So I would like to ask few questions, personal questions anyway. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Takrady, Western
Takrady,
region.
specifically.
In Takrady, I grew up in Lagos town, I must say. But then, my mom and dad were into trading of drugs, drugs for sale. We had a pharmacy. Yeah,
Okay,
so
all right. Okay.
I spent most of my days in town.
Okay.
Right? So I can't take that part of out of my life because most of the things I got to learn growing up were my interactions with people buying and selling.
Okay.
So I started interacting with people way long. I was coming up. I've interacted with people till now, old, young. Yeah, I was advantaged to that to experience that.
Okay. So where do you stay currently?
But now I live on University of Campus campus.
Oh, okay. That's okay. How was growing up like in the environment? Did you grow up as what we say dadaba? Because you look like one. How was it like?
So growing up, I grew up with the Fosu-Blanksons. Right?
Okay.
That's my family, and I'm a proud member of that family.
Okay.
Our dad actually put so much sacrifice to get himself to a certain place where he put our family at a certain high level. It was quite unfortunate for me, even though very fortunate that I learned so much from him. But as of the age of 9, I lost my dad.
Yeah.
He had a political career, and he was the second vice chairman of NPP as of the time that he died. Yeah, but then essentially he got us interactive into the selling of medication like through our pharmacy shop, which is Day by Day Pharmacy in Takrady.
Okay.
So growing up from that place, I really met a lot of people. Life came at me. It just kept hitting up on me. You get to experience people every day. But one thing our dad kept with us was respect. And it also made us understand that nothing is free.
Okay.
Right. So in anything that you want to pursue in life, it comes with a sacrifice. You have to put something on the table to get what you want. So I've known that since birth. Like after getting into this family, introducing myself to this family, experiencing the world out there, I've lived with this idea till today. And at 9, losing my dad was a big blow. So your perception about me looking like a dadaba, maybe the foundation, I can say the foundation was something like that.
All right.
But after it, the living after it onwards till today has not been dadaba like.
Really? Even
Yes.
up to today?
Yeah, even up to today.
You don't look it.
That should.
I think you are coming out of it gradually.
Yeah.
That's how come.
You know, yeah. But then it has not been it.
Yeah,
but then in our home we had special training. My family, we are very strict. My siblings, even after my dad, all of us we are 5, and I'm the last.
Okay.
But then we are very strict. So you can't put up anything and just go out there.
Tell us about some of those special trainings because we want to know.
Yeah. In our home, you just don't talk.
You don't talk, as in you can't express yourself?
No, you just don't talk. You talk for a reason.
You don't just talk.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Yes.
Okay.
When you say something, you should have a reason for saying it.
All right.
Our dad monitored us so much that even our speech patterns, our writing patterns, he was so much interested in those ones.
Okay.
So our dad, but recently I even charged on one when I went back to Takade on holidays this Christmas. He has a book called How to Train Your Child.
Wow.
So it's amazing. As of today, I find books that my dad read on how to train his children.
That's nice.
Yes, there's so much that I can't even recollect all because I lost him at an early age.
Yeah. Okay.
But those principles have been the foundations that I've actually lived with till today. These
Okay.
principles have kept me going. Whenever I step anywhere in this part of Ghana or go anywhere, I know I'm a Fosu-Blankson,
Okay.
and people know me for the family which I belong. There are people who know me and I don't even know them.
Okay.
Not that I'm so popular, no, not to
Okay.
communicate to that. But the idea is that keep in mind that wherever you are, whatever you do, some people are watching you.
Okay. So, before we move on to another thing,
Mm-hmm.
you've said quite a lot on your experience after your dad's demise and all that. Was there something significant that you picked from your childhood into adulthood currently that you're using? Just that one thing that you can't ever forget that keeps you going.
I was, I may join and say too,
Two.
yeah,
Okay.
respect and
Respect.
reading.
Respect and reading. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move on into your schooling. How was it like? Where did you start your education from?
I I started my first school in Atarius. Atarius
Materials.
school.
Okay.
It was in Takrade,
Mm.
around New Site. That was when I started crèche. Then I eventually went to Takrade Ridge International School.
Okay.
Then I completed my GSS education there. Then I went on to go to GSTS, Ghana Secondary
Okay.
Technical School
Mm.
in Takrade. After GSTS, that was in 2013. I came to UCC in 2013.
Okay.
So I started my university education in UCC 2013. As of at the end of 4 years, that's
Mm-hmm.
2017, I was done in first degree. Then started masters in philosophy department in UCC.
Okay.
That was in 2018,
Okay.
and I finished up in 2021.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and after then, I'm actually gathering myself to start a PhD very soon.
Okay.
But that's where we are going now.
That's where you're going to.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I look at your educational ladder, it's like you started schooling very early. I can't guess your age. I mean, I can't tell, but you
Yeah.
look very young.
I started schooling at the age of 2.
Two.
Yes.
Okay, so you were in crèche by 2.
Yes.
And you were in class 1 by 1.
So when my colleagues were in class 1 by 6, I was in class 1 by 5.
5.
Because
Okay, then I think I'm ahead of you. I was in class 1 by the age of 4 years. I skipped
Oh,
KG and
okay.
all that.
That's
Yeah.
quite interesting. That's interesting. My dad actually, the story was my dad. They were at a shop which is in town, like a big place.
Okay.
And whilst everybody is busy in about, when my dad is around, everybody's doing something.
Okay.
So whilst everybody was busying around, I, instead of busying myself with doing something, was busying myself by crawling out of the shop and moving
Thank you.
going to cross
So
the
you
street.
had to find something
So
for you
something
to
to
do.
get me do.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's good. I love that idea.
Yeah, so eventually I had to start school at 2.
Oh, okay. It's very inspiring to see such a young man, climbing the ladder so fast like that. It's very inspiring. And
Thank you.
by the end of our interview, I believe the other young ones out there would also be inspired to do that. There's no time. Time no day, cry.
Time no day. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So, at what point in time did you decide to become a teacher? Teaching has a lot of misconceptions around it and all that. And from the look of things, the family you're coming from, your dad was a politician, and I was hoping to hear you say that you were going in the line of politics, or perhaps he would have wanted you
my
to.
senior brother did, the first of us, is now a politician.
Wow. Okay.
He's a member of parliament now.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Yeah. That's nice.
So somebody has gone that direction.
Oh, okay. But how was it like? Why did you get your inspiration to become a teacher? Did you know you were going to become a teacher? I think I'm asking too many questions.
No, I understand. The questions are all gelled together. And it was never a thought to be a teacher. It was a thought to be a doctor.
Wow.
But then, yeah, that was when I was a kid,
Okay.
roaming about in our shops, and our shop, and one man there would say, "Hey, me doctor." Right. Yeah, so that thing got stuck up in my head, and
Okay.
I've always known myself to one day be a doctor, but I didn't know whether I was going to be a medical doctor or in
Okay.
academia.
Okay.
I think I'm entering academia.
Yes,
first.
academia.
Yeah. So, how did I want to be a teacher? I think by the time I was done with SHS, I spoke with my grandmother, Esisofaya Kuntiyada, who was actually a principal nurse in UCC. She advised me that she gave me a key advice. She says, "I'm a fancy," and she says, "Abrabono, a penny chin chin so so chin chin."
Okay, I don't understand that.
Yes, so let me explain.
Explain to us.
Chin chin so meaning suffer now and enjoy later.
Oh, okay.
Like chin chin, then so.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ana so chin chin. Enjoy now
and then
suffer later. So after she gave me this proverb, I really picked it, and I've not forgotten till today. There was one extra thing she said: "Don't fear any other person than God."
Okay.
I've lived with this, and as of the point when I entered the university by my second year, I asked myself this question every time: what do I want to be? What do I want to be?
So it was at the university that you started asking those questions. Okay.
Yes, what I want to be, because as of the time, life is kicking in, and where am I directing myself? But there's one thing I had seen myself do. I had taken time to form a good foundation. I had prepared myself enough that I could fit anywhere I decide, but I have not decided where to fit.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So then I thought of it and I realized that I'm a good orator.
Okay.
I can speak. Give me a chance to talk to people. I can do that. But I have a passion which I believe in, and my passion is in impacting onto people.
Okay.
So if I'm a good orator, impacting onto people, how can I do that? I thought of maybe going to radio, because there you can speak to a lot of people, inspire them with your ideas. Media. I looked at it, but whilst I was in the university, I was enjoying learning.
Okay.
I was enjoying learning. So then I thought of it. Why not keep up learning, and the university will give me the space to engage people by teaching if they give me the chance.
Okay.
Which today I have the chance to some extent. To give them any the chance, I'll do what I am pleased of doing, which my passion can equally relate. And that is inspiring young ones like myself every time. And I think the university is a very essential point where people get actually made. So people's personalities actually take a very good formation at the university. Aside the fact that they at the tender age, some of those things are also important. So that's why I took to teaching.
Oh, okay.
Right.
How difficult is your work? Currently, how difficult is it? How difficult is teaching? How difficult is lecturing?
There's the one difficult part of teaching is marking.
Marking.
Yes.
Okay. What is it about marking that is difficult? Oh, I mean, you can just pick your pen and
just mark,
tick, mark.
And
then you are always happy when the students are not able to write anything. You just have to cross.
Oh no, that is the difficult part.
So let's get there.
That's the difficult part. You see, the stressful part of marking is that every tutor or teacher wants their student to excel. But first, the teacher has to be objective to assess the student. To know if they really understand the things he meant to teach them.
Okay.
So you want to know whether your students actually understand. But then when you are marking or examining them, you realize that even though as much as they try to express the ideas of what they understand, they might not be able to express it enough as you wanted.
Okay.
So some people put their effort in to do more. Some may fail and some may not do as better as you want them to. When you're marking, you can't be too stringent. They are not robots.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So that is where the difficulty comes in. When you want to mark someone wrong, no, not that you want to. When someone deserves to be marked wrong, but you see them putting in an effort to say something,
And it
right?
becomes difficult to
Difficult how to discriminate
Okay.
which score you are giving, which score you are not giving. But if they are direct form of answering, it's just an easy go.
It's rather easy.
Yeah,
So marking is the
it's
most difficult
difficult. It's
aspect
one
of
of
it.
the because if questions are direct, they don't actually seem to enhance critical thinking. But
Okay.
when students actually put their thoughts to creative writing, that's when you see the power of their thinking abilities. And
Okay.
that is also what difficult because there's no gauge.
Okay.
Yes.
What course did you offer in SHS?
I did general arts
General arts. Okay.
with specificity on accounts, government, elective math, and geography.
Okay. At that time, you still didn't know exactly what you wanted to become, but you knew you were a good orator. So did
I
did
knew what I wanted to be, but then
but you have not decided. You were looking at a lot of things.
you
So
know, let me share this.
okay.
I wanted to be a geologist
Okay.
by then.
From a doctor to a geologist. Or the
Yeah,
doctor thing
the
was a
doctor could
childhood
have
thing.
been, yeah, it could have been
Okay.
from academia or anything.
Okay.
But the geologist as of then, because I saw myself capable.
Okay.
That's one key thing. I believed in myself to be capable
Okay.
of doing it. But after SHS, I realized that these courses I did had nothing to do with chemistry or physics,
Okay.
which is a requirement to do geology. Yeah, so maybe there could be a better way out, but I didn't take that route.
Okay. So the reason why I asked was looking at your career path and the way it's going, I need to know how you climbed up because it looks like at the SHS level we have very difficulty in choosing
Mm-hmm.
the courses to offer in SHS, and most of the time it comes back to hunters. Sometimes your teachers decide for you, or maybe you know exactly what you want to become already, so you do it, and then it doesn't become an issue of requirements, and you don't have it. Meanwhile, this is what you want to do, and then at the end of the day, you can't do it because perhaps you did business or you did something that is not related to that course. That's the reason why I asked that question.
Okay.
And currently, you are in the university now. You're
Mm.
still teaching over there. Do you think that the youth of today, I mean the younger ones, they need some sort of direction on how to select their courses, and at what point should that be done as a teacher? Should it be at the basic level or the SHS level or the tertiary? Because in Ghana, it's almost like by the time you are done writing your WASI before it dawns on you that this course that you did, you can't
Yeah,
use
yeah,
it for
yeah.
this.
So, talking about the selection of programs and student interest against tutors' influence on student interest,
Okay.
I'll say that there comes in the responsibility of parents.
Okay.
There's one thing that sometimes we don't really look up to. That's in this side of the world. It's a matter of research. If you have a child and the child has talent or a specialty, you should make sure that that specialty is where the child will focus on.
Okay.
It's not a matter of compulsion. Rather, you know what they want to do and help them fit properly, right?
Okay.
And I don't know, maybe as a parent, it might be your desire to make money. Your child might not have that desire put money as ultimacy in life.
Okay.
Money gives comfort, but contentment also gives comfort. But I will not approve of contentment when there's no development.
Okay.
You should be content with what you have, but you should make sure you develop.
You develop it.
But so putting your child at a specific place, knowing that this is, let's see, let me be very practical. Your child likes singing, is into music, but then you put your child in a medical school. Medicine, studying of medicine is so good. At some point, if your child is in medical school, what I'll tell that child at any stage or any person who hears this conversation, that since you are there, just note that you have an opportunity some others do not have.
Okay.
So make a good stride with that, right? If you're doing a degree you don't want to do because your parents, your parents are now forcing you to do it. Finish that degree. When you are done and you can take care of yourself, you can do what you want to do.
Okay.
Yes. So maybe that's not what your interest is in right now. But I think if you are a good parent and you see your child is into drawing and draws very well, there's so many, you don't necessarily have to do visual arts. There are so many things they can do. It's out there, it's online, you can search on it. All right. Some of people are in doing visual biological things. There's medical visual studies and all that.
Okay.
People draw body parts, try to these people even help teach even at the medical school. And then as a medical doctor, you need to draw.
Draw.
As a surgeon, you need to
Yeah.
draw. So you don't cut people to find out where I should further cut. You should be able to draw the layers of the muscles out before you even get there into the theater room to even cut. So drawing is no, you know, in our situation,
Yeah,
you think
in
it's
certain
when you visual art,
drawing
it's a
the
waste or
it's
something.
a waste
It's
of
not.
time.
It is
Drawing,
not.
playing football and all that.
Yes, but you see, the most important thing is finding your niche in society and playing out your role properly.
Okay.
If you can influence people with what you do, you get into connection with the universe.
Okay.
You become a person when you relate well with people around you, and you make people comfortable. You make people see themselves as human. Then you are a person.
Okay.
Some people say you are people.
Yeah,
Yes.
people. You know, the conflicting thing there is that, especially when it has to do with academics, most often maybe the child might want to do drawing, but the parents and other stakeholders around him or her would say, "Oh, we feel that you should go into this." So when it happens like that, the child is not able to perform well enough to get into the next stage of education. How about that?
So I agree. So it's just a matter of the fact that sometimes our life gets to a stage where our parents do not trust us so much to be in control. Let me share with you an experience where
Okay.
a young man who was just about graduating from UCC last year, not the current graduates,
Okay.
messaged me. I play basketball.
Okay.
So he's one of my basketballers, and he approached me in my DM telling me that he's about to graduate, but the class he has, he can't take that home. He doesn't know how his parents will respond to that. I told him that I got to learn at a certain stage in my life. When I used to go back home from university, my mom, my grandma, they didn't ask me what are my grades.
Okay.
They asked me how was school.
How was
If I
school?
say it's okay, it is okay. If I say it's not okay, it's not okay.
Okay.
But I will mostly say it was okay.
Okay.
Because I knew the situation we were in, and I had to propel myself to do better, and they trusted me to do better.
Okay, so it has to do with trust.
Yes, trust and you having a matured posture.
Okay.
So this is what I advise a guy that go to your mom and dad one of the days before the night before they go to sleep. Tell them you want to speak to them in their bedroom.
Okay.
When you go and you're talking to them, it's a form of appeal to pity, which I have actually taught you before. But then kneel down and talk to them. Talk to them like a man. Don't be patriarchal. Don't impose yourself on them. But then talk to them like you have control over your life. Mommy, daddy, I'm about to complete. These are the grades I have. But I'm not going to fail you in this life. I don't plan to. That's not my interest. I couldn't make it in as much as you expected me to.
Okay.
But this is what I want to do. I'm going in to do national service. After doing national service, this is where I'm going. I've planned to do this and that and that. But then after telling this to your parents, I think they will believe you for your word.
Okay.
They will trust you can do it. They know that you are conscious of the state you are in and you are not lost. Some parents come in to influence what we have to do because they feel you are lost in the storm.
Yeah.
Not everybody can control the storm of their life. So when they feel you are lost in the storm, they feel they have to help you control the storm.
Okay. Appeal to pity. Don't use it wrongly because I know some parents, it won't go well with you. You can't be a stubborn academy and then all of a sudden you go down on your knees and all that. You should show some level of control and maturity.
Yeah,
I think that's what
commitment is very key.
Yeah, okay. still on the school because you know that's where we want to draw our
Yeah,
inspiration
yeah,
from and all that. What are you teaching currently? What are some of the courses you're teaching? You mentioned it, but I want
yeah.
to pick some and then.
Okay. I teach philosophy
Okay,
broadly
okay,
philosophy. I also teach critical thinking.
okay.
In philosophy, I teach metaphysics. I teach logic. I teach problems of philosophy and ethics. Some other related courses
Oh,
in
okay.
ethics. Yeah.
Anytime they mention philosophy, what comes into my mind is a philosopher. And you know, philosophers are always looking Aristotle, and I
Yeah,
don't know if
yeah,
I'm getting it right, but
yeah,
they look certain ways.
yeah.
But you are not
Unlike
looking.
me.
Yes, you are not looking like that. Uh-huh. So let's go into philosophy.
Yes.
Anytime we mention philosophy, people think that it's a cause for like the elderly, and that what comes into mind is people are going to read these people. Oh, they can read your mind. There are people who are always psychological about things, and they can get into your mind. Is that the idea about it? Like, is
Mm,
that all that
and
it is?
okay, so let me talk about philosophy this way.
Okay,
In the society knows of philosophy,
okay,
especially when people have gotten to a certain level in life where they start to ponder and think about deep questions in life.
okay,
When people start to ponder and think of deep questions in life, basically we want to term them as philosophizing people.
okay.
So you let me take an instance where a certain man has lived all his life, gone through several experiences, and now he sits back at home and he just analyzes the life he has lived, what he has gathered, and all that, and the life people are living now, and tries to juxtapose what is it that we have in life, what do we want in life, how should a person live his life, what is the right way to go.
Okay.
If the person is thinking about these things, they are philosophizing because they are trying to seek for answers that are not easily found on, let's say, on a silver platter. But these answers actually far fetched.
Okay.
You can't get them. And it's as if you have these answers, maybe most of the problems in society will be solved. Imagine we all knew the right way to live
Okay.
and we could not just know it, but we could live by it.
Right.
Because you can know the right way to live, but not also be able to live by
Live by
it.
it in action.
Yes, in action.
Okay.
So that is why people think of philosophy from that. Because anybody who starts philosophy might know a lot in life.
Yeah.
A lot in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us about logic. Logic, as
Yeah.
in the logic we know. What does it do, and the philosophy?
So logic is actually a tool philosophers use in reasoning.
Okay.
Philosophy argues, just as I told you, it tells you about questions, deep questions about life. So talking about deep questions about life, you can know that if people are pondering and seeking answers to deep questions about life, that means there are no answers to them.
Okay.
If they were, they won't ponder.
They all found out.
So there are no answers to them. So since there are no answers to them, the answers could be biased, it could be subjective, it could be relative.
Okay.
Since the answers can be relative, then what it implies is that people's opinions can be taken. But then your opinion will only be accepted if you have a good justification for holding that opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
And on that ground, that is the reason why we use logic. We use logic to assess the justification you have for holding that opinion.
Okay.
So, just as I told you earlier, you make an argument by making a claim, and that justification, which is the reasons or evidence used to support the claim, should be that part which we would assess. If you assess that part and logically it is cogent, coherent, then we will grant it as what your answer has been probably considerably too.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is no perfect answer basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of things are running through my mind. What other thing can you do with philosophy, the study of philosophy? Is it only about teaching, or you can get into other professions?
Very good question. Um, I think philosophy is not a professional course,
No, okay.
right? but it's not like the other courses where you do management and you go and write a management professional exams. It's not a course where you get licensed. No.
Okay.
Philosophy, at the end of philosophy, what essentially you hold is critical thinking.
Okay.
Philosophy is a mother of other disciplines, right? All other disciplines are actually dependent on philosophy. So philosophy gives you a very good introduction to reasoning along several areas. Talk of
Okay.
science, agriculture, everything, the rest of them, right?
Okay.
So since philosophy gives you an introduction to that side, at the end of the day, what you have as a graduate of philosophy is critical thinking. And don't think that at the end of your first degree reading BA philosophy, you are entitled to this job. You can fit there any job, but know that you require some professional skills if you are going in a professional area. But then if you attach your critical thinking to that professionality that you demand and you combine them, you'll be better than someone who has just gone the professional way.
Oh, okay.
So what I'm just trying to tell you is that you may need to do more after just your first degree of reading philosophy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Before we leave the educational field, are there mistakes, or is there any mistakes is there any mistake that you made in university that you think that young people are still making that might be misleading? Okay, it may not necessarily be you, but perhaps you've observed that there is a particular mistake that we are making that we need not to make as young people when you
Yeah.
get into the university.
In the university.
Yeah.
There's one thing I see young people do. I want to talk of social capital.
Okay.
And it's social capital in the instance where people build good network and connections with people. Now those people become social resources that you can capitalize on during situations when you need them. Students nowadays even don't know the names of people that teach them. Students hardly read notices. When a list is published, students will hardly go and look. They want friends to take pictures so they get into them. Students will hardly want to move out of their rooms to go and explore a place. They rather stay in their room and watch Netflix. I'm not saying don't watch movies.
Yeah.
Movies are good. I myself learn from movies a lot. But then I think the youth today are not being meticulous.
Okay.
They are not being diligent in being, they don't study. If you study, you take a closer look, you take a critical look. Students are not critical.
Okay.
Students are just being students.
Okay.
They are just schooling because they have to school.
Okay.
They are just going for lectures because they have to just go. A few of them would want to live pure for education. A lot of them school but don't get educated.
Okay.
Right. So I think students should allow yourself to go through the system. Respect people. Take people for who they are. Recognize them. Recognize systems. People are in level 200 right now, I can say, and they are in a department and they don't know the name of their department.
This is serious.
Here that we are on this assignment, I know a student reading the course critical thinking and calls it creative thinking.
This is serious.
Yes, and the person is a course rep.
Wow.
So you understand that people are not being diligent, they are not being meticulous. It's more like they are just joking around, they are just living it.
Okay.
And that's what students normally do. So students could go through all the process of 4 years, get done, and there's nothing to hold. There's nothing in the basket.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we should encourage networking among ourselves.
Networking, knowing people, engaging people, practicing. There's one thing I didn't do when I was undergraduate.
Okay.
I was joining a club or an association.
Okay.
I was with a church as an association, but then I didn't join a club or association to engage in my other personal skills.
Okay.
But students really need to do that. Spend some time, expose yourself, see how creative you are.
Okay.
Yeah, students don't really, some of them, they just stay in their room during weekends and think the school is stressful, so they just want to what, relax.
Relax.
Really, you want to relax in your young age. You really want to relax
We
in your
want to
young age.
relax. We want to
No,
relax with
I've been of the
Netflix.
view that I've always kept the view that in your ages 20s and 30s are the times you don't have to sleep, have a full night.
Okay.
It is a time you work in the morning and you work during day, and the time you work during night.
Okay.
20s and 30s. Now when you've invested so much in l- doing that double dualistic operation during your 20s and 30s, by your 40s and 50s you'll be enjoying the sacrifice you
Okay.
put in.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Let's move on to something fun. Entertainment. Are you someone who loves to have entertainment? I mean, philosophers, dear.
There's no
Entertainment for
entertainment.
home. Entertainment for women.
That's a joke.
Yeah. So I mean, you look so serious. You look like a dadaba, which is a misconception. You've cleared that. But of course, you're a last one, so I'm not entirely
call,
wrong.
call me a sister ba.
A sister ba,
Yeah.
rather.
Yeah.
I'd rather call you last baby because last baby is there.
My sister is really doing well for me.
Wow. Then is the result of that. Then sister
Or
ba.
maybe you can say
Oh,
that.
okay.